Welcome everybody to a new edition of Yoko and Frisky's Dimensional Rift. This episode is brought to you by Sister Sister. Go watch it now on Netflix. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. And you know I'm here with the co-host with the most, my homegirl, Jen Yoko. Make some noise.
Whoop whoop. Feeling kind of sick today, folks, but I'm healing myself. I'm in bed. It's good. It's all good.
Yeah, don't go hiking in Florida sun. You will hit the toilet real fast. And
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
and we got a returning guest, our boy Frankie.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we got an exciting episode. We got a lot to talk about. The meat and potatoes is going to be the Avengers game. Was it a success or a disappointment? You're going to find out. But man, I also wrote down a few things I want to talk about, little news tidbits. But let's talk about Black Widow's movie delay. I think that might have had an important role in Jen feeling not too good today. Let's go to the.
Oh my gosh. You keep bringing that up. You did, like, oh, Black Widow's gone. I don't care. I don't care.
What?
Gosh, even in the game, I was just like, oh, wow, I'm not impressed.
But Jen, I thought that's your homegirl. I'm gonna get you like the Black Widow comforter, the Black Widow shower
If you
curtain.
do that, I will, no. Wonder Woman's my girl. Don't you forget it.
Yeah, hopefully Wonder
And
Woman.
Storm.
Hopefully Wonder Woman's coming out on Christmas, but we'll see. But we also got some more sad news on the female superhero front. We got the cancellation of Supergirl. How do you feel?
Yeah. Wow, it's been a long time coming. She wasn't supposed to survive, but she did. And you know what? The show wasn't half bad. And then I got bored. But I might rewatch it. Who knows?
Yeah, but how do you feel about them canceling a Supergirl show in favor of a Superman show? Hashtag me too.
Oh, well, I mean, at this point, definitely Caucasian just does it again. That's all I gotta say.
Right. I can't wait for that Peacemaker show to come out.
Peacemaker.
Yeah, he's coming out with a show. He's getting a spinoff even before the movie comes out.
John Cena.
Yeah, it's funny.
Oh,
I do,
he
I do,
jumped.
I do gotta say, like in terms of like the Supergirl cancellation happening, it is unfortunate, mainly because that show did pave some of the way to like what's going on with like the rest of the CW shows. But as my friend pointed out, it sucks that Crisis sort of ruined a lot of things. And sort of ruins the fact that Supergirl had a future. Like literally, Crisis destroys Supergirl's future. Making Superman the thing, making Superman come out, and then having Superman become the new show. And I don't necessarily blame the fact that Superman is having a show and Supergirl's not going to have a show on that. I think the show was slowly on the decline for a while.
Get it. Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Oh no, you're good. Sorry.
Yeah, like the show was slowly on a decline for a while. Like I liked the show a lot when it first aired, when it was back on NBC. Right?
CBS.
CBS. Home of Star Trek. When it was on CBS, it was like the first season is a solid show and so vastly different than the rest of that show. It's such a stark difference between the two from season 1 into season 2.
That's interesting that you say that, because like I felt like season 2 was better, because I gotta be real with you. What's her name? The girl who's Supergirl. Her acting didn't really get better.
Melissa Benoist.
Yeah. So Melissa's acting got better season 3, and then season 4.
I'll deny that.
Yeah, and like I really didn't really jump into it until like mid season 2. Like I stuck with it.
Yeah,
I was like, I got to.
I'm not saying like the acting quality from Benoist was what made season 1 and season 2 different. I say the rest of the cast and the locations, the way it was shot, are strikingly different, because again, it was like Supergirl was originally shot in fucking California, I believe, like season 1, and then season 2 they moved out to Canada, so they moved it out where the rest of all the CW shows, live. So every little location, they had to find a piece of the same city of Vancouver that didn't look like the rest of fucking, the Central City or Star City or fucking or freaking wherever the fuck the Wave Rider would go.
That's so true. That must be so hard.
Yeah, because they literally had to find the one locations out of all of them that didn't also show the giant destroyed fucking stadium that's in the middle of freaking Vancouver. So it's just funny. Again, the first season had a lot of promise. I enjoyed how everything was set up. What's her name? Who played Cat Grant? Fuck, I'm forgetting her name. Married to Harrison Ford. Shit, I'm forgetting her name.
Ally McBeal. Ally
McBeal.
Clarissa Flockhart.
Yes, Callista Flockhart. Well, it's fantastic. She was a great addition. She was a great Perry White stand-in. She was the news the reporter with all the experience and someone to look up to, because even though she acted super snobby, she was 100% made it by her bootstraps to become such a big lead, and being there was such a great interpretation of a character for Melissa Benoist to look up to eventually, and it was awesome. All the characterizations that happened the first season carry on for the most part. There were weird missteps to that show that as the seasons progressed, and I was like, okay, this is a weird take on a lot of things. Jimmy becoming freaking Guardian, Wynn going to the future, but eventually, certain things started meshing a lot well. The latest season when they introduced Brainiac 5, fantastic, because I love that dude. That actor is fantastic, and I love him. And the person that eventually plays Dream Girl, played by a trans actor, is freaking amazing. I love everything the show was trying to do. Was pretty fucking good. But there was always this weird sense of hypocrisy by Supergirl in the show that sort of made me always go,
huh?
It's weird. Yeah, eventually there was this weird notion that aliens. The show sort of shifted from being this lighthearted romp about superheroism and trying to fight the villains of the week, and to try to make very valid points of our society, Jimmy being affected by racial issues because his he eventually started learning more about his his grandfather fought in the war. He used to have a camera. He was eventually his camera eventually broke. He eventually needed to feel that he needed to have an identity outside of just being Jimmy Olsen, so he becomes Guardian, and then goes out and beats people in the streets of freaking Metropolis, or no, National City. But it was weird because it sort of clashes with the version of Jimmy Olsen that you see in season 1, who is morally against torturing of fucking held captives in a Guantanamo prison, which was what fucking the DEO was.
Wow.
So he legitimately breaks into the DEO, finds out that they're holding people against their will, and is like, I'm not okay with any of this. And then to eventually becoming, hey, DEO, we best buds, right? I can beat people up in the streets with a mask because everybody's gonna be cool with it. And I'm like, yeah, it's sort of weird that this is happening.
Wait, Frankie, are you saying that a show on the CW has inconsistent writing?
Oh, 100%.
Blasphemy.
These shows so inconsistent writing, because again, which I find it weird, because most of the time, again, writing staffs are, it seems like they're not the same people most of the time, but then I read into more the writers, and they're the same guys. So it's weird when you can't follow your own set rules or narratives, from week to week.
Well, but, sometimes you just gotta write it all down, roll the dice, and be like, does Supergirl get to show Batgirl or Batwoman her tits? Nope, not this week. It's going to be the Flash. All right, yeah. They have a wheel of it all, and they're like, should we talk about racism?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Eventually, aliens started becoming more prominent in the show, and as any sci-fi show or any show that's related to sci-fi, aliens are your stand-in for people of color, and or the marginalized, I would say. And the show started going into this weird, almost Star Trekian, like, roller coaster of like, we're going to show aliens week to week, and they're going to be the marginalized, and we're going to show their stripes. And they had the episode where Jimmy has to talk with black aliens, and they were like, and he's like, wait, why do I have to talk to them? Just because they look black? And he's like, yeah, that's exactly why you have to talk to them.
Damn.
And eventually there was this one episode that will always stick to me, and it's the White Martian episode where Supergirl, John Jones, and Megan have to go to Mars because they have to like stop like an uprising because now they're only white Martians. Again, this is spoilers for the show, and the show's about to be done. So if you haven't watched it, go watch the damn show. But they have this weird like a moment where Supergirl has to punch out a white Martian that's fighting another white Martian. And
Oh my gosh.
yeah, and then she punches out a white Martian, and then the other white Martian turns back into like an ethnic youth, and then goes,
Wow.
How did you know like that I wasn't the bad guy? And she goes like, I didn't. And I'm like, wow, that's sort of fucked up. That is a sort of fucked up stance to take. It's like you could have at least made her go, oh no, I could definitely tell people apart. Like, just because you're both the same skin color doesn't mean I can't tell the difference between you.
Wow, that is terrible.
Such a weird, like, again, the show tries so much to be very topical and very, like, like on brand, but then they have these weird missteps of character dialogue or development that's like, whoa, buddy.
What about the bad special effects I see clips of the show, and it's like terrible special effects from like 2006.
Well, the show is, again, it's a syndicated television show on a major network, but it's they for some of the digital effects are done relatively well. Their models are done pretty well, but their compositioning and their setup in the frame are sometimes very wonky because they shoot from what I can understand, they don't shoot for the effect of here's where the monster is going to be. Is they shoot for the location and then they composite the monster in later. So it's never I don't believe there's ever a point where someone's like having a giant like pole on a stick and go like, this is where the thing is. This is where you have to act against.
You're right. That makes sense.
Delicious.
Well, it lasted 6 seasons. I think that's longer than anyone expected. So
I blame Monel.
Yeah.
You blame what?
I blame the actor Chris Wood, who played Monel on the show, who's also also weird fucking reasoning as to why he's on the show. But Chris Wood is married to Melissa Benoist. They're actually married in real life.
She just had a baby.
They just had a baby, so I blame Chris Wood.
His wood touched hers.
Exactly. I blame him for knocking up Melissa Benoist and then making her go like, you know what? This is my life now.
Wow. There you go, folks.
You know what's crazy? I'm gonna go meta here, okay? I was watching. I haven't been feeling well, so I have all these Xena Warrior Princess box sets, and I was talking to my roommate about how when women get pregnant, they usually quit their jobs or are forced to quit their jobs, and some women just willingly do it. They're like, I want to be with my child, and that is valid, 100%. But like, I'm just surprised that they couldn't have written something in it. I mean, it's DC. They usually come up with some cockamamie bullshit, like how Catwoman got pregnant and whatnot, and freaking in the comic book, she got pregnant and she dropped the baby off somewhere to be raised. I don't know.
She dropped it at like a coffee bean.
yeah, that one. I'm just saying. I'm just surprised that she still won't finish the role, because they could have been like, oh no, she's been marginalized by an alien, or they could have totally had a pregnant episode. I mean, it would have been great.
Probably. I'm not. Again, I'm not.
It would have been
I'm
like,
like poking fun that Chris Wood, got, Aunt Elizabeth Norris have a child now. I don't know if that was a definite reason as to why she's no longer going to be in, why Supergirl got canceled. No clue.
Mm-hmm.
But I just poke fun. I just blame everything on Mon-El, because if anyone knows like the character of Mon-El in the show, it's
I
like,
do know the character Mon-El. He's just
Yeah.
frustrating.
no, not just frustrating. He used to be a fucking slave owner. Like that was like the thing.
wow.
Like, and no one remembers Mon-El was a slave owner.
So,
Like,
you got Mon-El as a slave owner. That one chick from Smallville was in like a sex cult ring. Oh man.
well, yeah, I mean that's the actual person who played the character of fucking the fuck was her name? Chloe? No. The fuck was it?
We're not gonna get into that, man. We're going off topic.
Yeah, I'm not saying the actor Chris Woods was an actual slave owner. I'm talking about the character Mon-El in the show was a slave owner.
Oh, okay, my mistake.
Yeah.
Well, that was some fun news bits there. Let's talk about something more lighthearted, yo. Did you hear that new Vin Diesel single dropped like hot fire the other day?
Is that the thing that you sent me?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I did not listen to it. I'm so sorry.
Wow, very sad. What about you, man?
The show is. I mean, that song is silly. I'm sorry. Like I heard it in the backseat of my friend's car because he was driving me back from a location, and I'm like, yo, this Vin Diesel song dropped. He was like, all right, let's put it on. And my other friend was like, yo, it sounds like Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I was like, that's weird that you'd say that. Because I believe Neil deGrasse Tyson would have better flow than Vin Diesel.
It's just so funny, man, because I can imagine his thought process. It's like, he probably woke up, had breakfast, maybe some coffee, did a jog, and he was like, you know what? I feel like recording a song today. And then he just probably just did it. He probably just went into the studio, and he released it on the Kelly Clarkson show, of all places. And then they had this.
Oh my god!
This had this weird.
Really?
Yeah, they had a weird clip of the virtual audience dancing. It was just so weird. It really encapsulates how weird of a year we're having. But I thought it was.
This year has been pretty meta.
Yeah, I thought it was just like, it wasn't a great song, but it was endearing. It was nice. It was cute.
I'm not gonna freaking like harp on him for the fact that he wanted to put out something for people to groove to. Like, I'm never gonna like be like, oh man, this is terrible. You should feel bad. I'm just like, this is a silly ass song, but I was enjoying it.
He better be on the soundtrack for the next Fast and Furious movie. That's all I'm saying. He better be on that soundtrack with Ludacris and Tyrese.
Gotta get that bop. Gotta get that bop going.
All right, we got some game news. Our last episode, we were talking about Scott Pilgrim, which, funny enough, you were supposed to be on here, Frankie, but I guess you overslept. And
Sorry about that.
we were talking about the game and how they should re-release it. Well, guess what? They listened to our podcast, and now they're going to re-release the game this holiday season.
They listen to our podcast. Yo, stop.
Yeah.
No, but we were like screaming. We were like, yo,
It's an awesome game. Yeah, it's a good time. And
very glad. I'm actually happy that the game is being re-released. It's one of the games that I used to play back when the PS3 was was still in its lifespan, and it was one of those funnest games that I had playing with like other people because it's just a fun beat 'em up and it's really really well created. And the person that did the artwork is immensely talented and was was really really big during the time because he was doing a lot of pixel art that people would normally find like on different websites and like these long-winded. Yeah, very, very like nice pixel animations that he used to do, like back in the day, that led to him being the lead art design for this game, and with all credit due to that person. Like they did freaking fantastic work, and their creative design recreating the manga, I would say more than the movie because I'm a bigger fan of that freaking book than I am the movie because I just don't like Michael Cera's face.
Damn.
But. It's just so well done. I loved everything about that. The freaking base battle when you have to fight, the vegan.
Todd.
It's freaking fantastic. Yeah. I'm like, this is well done. It's just really well done. So yeah, I'm super glad that they listened to your podcast and made the thing happen. So all the credit to you guys.
I'm telling you, man, we're blowing up.
Right.
We got like 2 new subscribers that may or may not be from my job, and yeah, we're just blowing up right now.
You know, Holly Berry be calling us up. Janet Jackson's gonna call. She's gonna be on the show one day. She's gonna come by. You know.
I'm gonna get Aubrey Plaza on here. You know, we took a pic once. Rosario Dawson as well. You know, it's got, it's busy. You know, with social distancing. Anyway, Ubisoft is also they're remaking Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, which is a great game. Yeah,
that was a good game.
Yeah, it's a classic for that generation. It's fun, just wall running and stuff. Kind of like Captain America. Ooh. Captain America stole his wall run for sure.
We'll get that later. We'll get to that later.
And then the biggest news, I like jumped out of my seat when I found out they were releasing Spider-Man Miles Morales on the PS4 on my birthday.
God. Yeah, dude. Finally, a good game for you this year. I'm sorry. Every game that this dude has picked this year has been bad. I'm sorry.
Not bad. Disappointing.
Okay, let's pick that one. Let's pick disappointing.
Did any of you watch season 3 of Agretzko?
I didn't finish it. I wanted to watch it today. Actually,
I loved it.
Finish watching it.
I loved it.
It's really good so far.
Yeah, I thought it was way better than season 2. I think it might be the best season, but I'll wait till you watch it and then we'll discuss it on here.
Okay.
And then last but not least, I watched a few movies. I went to Connecticut to watch Tenet and the New Mutants.
My house.
Yeah, I did.
Without me. Look, dude, Frankie, dude, that movie theater is 5 minutes away from my house. It's crazy.
Did you go visit family? You go say what's up?
Nah, man. I had to keep a low profile. You know, I didn't want to blow up the place. But I saw Tenet, and it was confusing as hell because A, it's about time travel, and B, you can barely hear what they're saying because
I didn't know that's what the movie was about.
The sound. Well, it's not. It's a different kind of time travel. It's not really time travel.
Don't try to explain it because I still want to watch the movie. I've not seen the movie yet. I like to know little as possible when I go into movies.
All right, I feel you. Sorry for dropping that bomb, but it's a very confusing movie. It's worth watching twice. So, Frankie, when you watch it at home, make sure you got the closed captions on so you can hear everything. Because Christopher Nolan, he loves to mix his sound really weird.
Yes, he does. Like he has very atmospheric sound design. So it's very much like it's supposed to rise to tension in any scene. So there's normally like an unsettling amount of sound that's happening.
Yeah, it's very distracting. Huh. But I saw the New Mutants and it's not bad. I enjoyed it. It's like Degrassi meets the X-Men.
Let me ask you this: Is it a fitting end to the Fox Fox X-Men universe?
It's a way better ending to the X-Men universe than Dark Phoenix was. Trust me. Okay. Like that final shot.
Oh gosh! Don't even get me started on Dark Phoenix.
We talked about Dark Phoenix here already, but the final shot in the movie, without spoiling it, is very hopeful. It's a hopeful shot, and I was like, you know what? That's a really nice way for the film franchise, have its ending. Even though I'm sure it wasn't intended that way, but I saw it as like, wow, that's it's hopeful. So yeah,
that's cool. I mean, it's not going into like the deep like X-Men lore. I mean, as long as it's hopeful and not like how it was quasi fake out hopeful like X-Men: The Last Stand. Because technically that was also supposed to be like an ending to a universe, and it goes. Wolverine goes back to the the future. He's all like, "Oh, everything's cool now. Scott's alive. Jean's alive. Wheels is back in his chair." But then he's all like, "Because it's Wheels, man. You gotta make sure he got his his nice mutant name." But it's always funny when he like shows back up. He's like, "Is everything cool?" He's like, "Oh, My old friend, it's good to see you, even though technically that means the person that I've known for like, I don't know, 20 years is dead now because that version of Wolverine no longer exists. And he goes like, and then there were the dark times, and then immediately 3 years or 4 years after that, Xavier has an aneurysm and kills everybody.
All right, hold on. We can do a whole episode about the X-Men Fox franchise. We will do that. We'll do it. This is not the time. But
I would love to do it because it's a holiday movie for me. It's up there, like.
Okay.
So here's my holiday movies. Okay, it's the original X-Men from X-Men 1 and 2. Then there's Batman, all the Batman movies, the original ones. So the two Michael Keaton Batmans, and then the two without. Then the Addams Family, Ghostbusters. I'm missing one. Sometimes Beetlejuice. It should always be Beetlejuice, but sometimes Beetlejuice.
Where's Die Hard? Where's Home Alone? Where's Jingle All the Way?
Up in one. It's Christmas movie.
See, those are movies that I watch when the fam comes over. You put the Thanksgiving Day turkey on, and those movies play in the background while nobody pays attention.
That's true. I'm surprised they haven't made Home Alone into a musical yet.
Oh my gosh, I thought they did.
Oh man, I would love to hear the Wet Bandits, musical song.
It'd be just WAP. We some wet ass bandits. We some wet ass. Okay. Last movie I saw was Bill and Ted Face the Music.
How was it?
I thought it was great. I thought it was good. I had a good time. What about you, Frankie?
It's a great movie. It's a solid movie that knows exactly what it is and doesn't try to overreach. And I'm like, this is a solid movie. It's what you need, especially for like the times that's happening right now. It's just a good feeling movie. And having rewatched the first two Bill and Ted movies, and if no one has ever watched the Bill and Ted movies, I suggest watching them. Because they are the epitome of low stakes but great feeling, because it's like, hey, the future will not exist if these two stoners from freaking Pasadena, California, don't get an A on their history report. That's it.
Oh my gosh!
Like if you don't know what the original freaking Bill and Ted is, it's literally just two guys going like most excellent to one another, and I'm like, yeah, there's only like one misstep in the movie, and that's because it was in 1980s, so you have to sort of be like, okay, I get it.
Are you talking about the fact that they're doing their book report in an auditorium?
No. There's a one line between the two in a very endearing moment in the movie where they thought they have lost one another, and then they're reconnected.
Oh yeah, he's like, yeah, I fell out of my suit.
Yeah, I fell out of my suit, but right immediately after that, after the hug, a derogatory term is thrown out, and it's like, you didn't need to say that. I don't know why you needed to say that, but you don't need to say that.
Oh, it was the 80s.
But again, it was the 80s, so it's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, it was definitely it's a feel-good movie, man. It's a movie we need.
But yeah,
right now.
aside from that, they're just really feel-good movie. And the second one is such a it's more fun, I would say. Like if you ever watched Bill and Ted Bogus Journey.
Second one is my favorite because it's so weird.
I love the first one more. I love the first one a lot more. The second one is more fun. I greatly admit that. And there's just more fun things happening. That is like, oh, this is pretty awesome, and then the way they get out of certain events makes you go like, this is, you're not supposed to take any of this seriously, but like, this is great. So when it ends and the movie finishes up, you're like, this is such a feel good moment that you're like, this is awesome, and you didn't really need to care that a sequel movie came out 20 years later, but the fact that it did, and I'm like, you know what? This is awesome. I love their characterization of their characters. 20 years, older, wiser. Their daughters in the movie are fantastic.
Yes.
The sequences of events that are happening, the all around cast is really well done. And just the premise of the movie, go like, hey, you, the great messiahs of the future, still haven't done the thing you were supposed to do because you were slackers. Is such a good moment that when it actually all comes together, you're like, of course, they're not the ones who solve the thing. And I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I only have like two problems with it. One, Def he does not have enough screen time, man. Like, I need more Def in my life. And the second one is the whole subplot with the wives. It's like all in the background. It really amounts to like nothing. It's like
I would admit to that.
yeah, I feel like their whole
plot with the wives is sort of a.
It's literally in the background.
Loose plot thread that no one decided to do anything with.
Yeah, I feel like that was supposed to go way deeper, but they just cut it for time, I guess.
Probably.
Which the movie is short as it is. It's like 90 minutes, like on the dot, and it ends so quickly.
Yeah, which I admit, I'm like a 90-minute movie. That's exactly where this movie needed to be.
But that's refreshing because, like, compared to like movies that we have now, they're like epic adventures that last 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, let's watch Transformers. You guys have 4 hours?
All right.
Man, I did that with the first two movies only recently, and I was like, man, this is exhausting.
But
Makes watching your head hurt, huh?
Watching Bill and Ted Face the Music has inspired me to go back and rewatch all of Keanu Reeves' filmography. And
watch My Private Idaho.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
Are you watching? What was it? The movie where he goes to hell, which is like another Matrix movie.
I'm gonna watch all of that, and I already started. There's the first movie he's in, like theatrically, is a movie called Youngblood. It's a stupid hockey movie. It's about a farmer who wants to be a hockey player, and Keanu Reeves is in it for like maybe a minute and a half. He's the goalie. He like shows up for 2 scenes, and then you never see him again. Presumably, he's the goalie, so he's always wearing a mask, so you don't see him. But it's like super cheesy 80s like sports film. It's so cliche. There's even a fucking fighting montage in there for a hockey movie.
Of course there is.
Rob Lowe.
It's gonna be a montage.
Oh man.
So yeah, like you gotta watch. Yeah, finish watching that. You gotta watch My Private Idaho. You have to watch.
I have a list.
The Devil's Advocate.
Yes.
Constantine.
I gotta watch Hardball, where he's coaching a black
when he's a
baseball
coach for
team.
the at-risk youth. Yeah, gotta make sure those at-risk youth don't go to the wrong side of town or something.
Have you ever seen the movie Knock Knock, where he's seduced by like these 2 random women?
Oh, I know of the movie. I never watched it.
Oh, it's so terrible. We have to do that for Bad Movie Night. It's so bad.
It's also
we gotta watch I'm sorry, buddy.
I do know that the movie takes place, like the apartment looks like the exact same apartment, or not apartment, but the house was like the exact same house in John Wick.
Yeah.
So it looks like the exact same place.
No, what's bizarre about the premise of Knock Knock is that he looks like John Wick, because it's like in between movies. Yep. And he's being overpowered by these 2 skinny, like, 20-year-olds. And it's just hard to watch. It's like, yo, kill them with the pencil.
John Wick, what are you doing? He's like, I can't. Didn't kill my dog.
But yeah, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be my like quarantine project, because I'm basically not going outside for a while, so that's gonna be a project. But anyway, let's get to the feature presentation of this episode. Let's talk about Marvel's Avengers. And let's start with you, Frankie. You just beat it yesterday. What did you think about that campaign?
The one thing I gotta say for the Marvels, I have a lot of things to say, but the one thing I want to say, like up front with the game, is that it is very pretty. Like it's a very pretty looking game. Like it's a solid, looking like title, AAA title. However, that does not excuse the fact that it is a mediocre game. It is not. It is literally a copy and paste of other games that do what it's trying to do better. Like it is 100% a Destiny rip. Like it has the exact same armor system, like setup, loot, drop setup, marketplace store, certain cash or currency options that it has. It's literally a short campaign that leads into a larger open world, scenario, like scenario system that is just a repetitive, go to the same location, fight the same bad guys, rinse and repeat motif. And it's hidden behind small little, story elements here and there. You're following Miss Marvel through a story narrative about, this whole thing that made the Avengers have it disbanded and reassembled again. And at first you're thinking this is a Miss Marvel story, and then it turns out no, this is an Avengers story. And then a lot of people get pushed to the background the moment the big three show up.
Oh yeah.
It is hilarious, that last fight scene. And
I
was
man.
I am Captain America throughout this. And I'm like, I love Cap, but I thought this was like a Miss Marvel thing.
I have so much to say about that last level.
Hold on, I'll be right back. I might have an emergency. Hold on. I'm coming right back.
So, yeah, it's such a weird structure of a game. Like, especially once once everything is wrapped up, and if you're a comic book fan, and I preface it to any listeners who are big Marvel fan, the story of the Inhumans, the story of the Terrigen Mist, and you understand what a Kree fucking century is when it shows up at the end of the fucking game. And all of it is so weirdly used because none of it is actually in the forefront. None of it is actually matters. The Inhumans, the human agenda or the Inhuman characters are not even important enough to warrant actual dialogue from them.
They barely have names.
Exactly. There's only ever one, the forefront Inhuman character is Miss Marvel, yes. There is one scenario where she talks to one other Inhuman character, and then that character is never brought up again. And he's not even an important character. He wasn't even a named character. He's just some dude.
What about the girl in the wheelchair? There's a prompt where you talk to her, but she never factors in the story at all.
Nobody talk to her because if you talk to her brother, you get the context of who she is. Because the teleporter, the main teleporter is the brother of the girl in the wheelchair, and he's the only character you ever see. That's the funniest thing. The teleporting guy is the only teleporter that comes in and out. You never see her teleporting in and out saving anybody. It's such a weird. It's why include the character? Except only to say, hey, look, there's a teleporting woman character who's also has a disability. Isn't she strong? And yet, never utilizing that character for anything is just to be having just something that's hanging there. Go yeah, we did it. It's there in the game. Yeah, but but you don't include it. No, she's in the game. We included her, but you don't really include her in any of the actual content. But she's in the game, so we did include her. So it's that's such a weird thing to do. Most of all the characters have no real reasoning for anything they do. They have Maddie Cho, the sister to Amadeus Cho, in the game, but she doesn't do shit.
I'm back. Sorry, it was a false alarm. I got scared. Good. My bad.
Did you fart and get scared again?
No, not this time. Right. And I didn't bark at it.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's weird that they included Maddie Cho in the game, and then she doesn't really do anything. Yeah. And I think she's voiced by Awkwafina. I'm not sure. I could be wrong.
My guess for all these these random characters.
Superfluous?
Yes. Thank you. My guess is that maybe DLC down the line is gonna make them more important.
Maybe. I don't deny it, but that's also another big gripe with me in the game is that and this is commonplace for most AAA titles now. You are given an unfinished product.
Yep. Yeah, which is frustrating. It's frustrating. I don't even want to keep this game because it's I don't know.
It demands more of you later. You're literally shackled to a game that goes hey, this is only part one of an intended series of different DLCs that you would have to put your money into so you can get the full enjoyment of the game. Because there are a lot of things left on the cutting room table, cutting room floor, I should say, because everything that happens again with the Kree Century, with the Terrigen Mist, none of it's explained. Like, when they show up, if you're a comic book fan, you know exactly what it means and you know exactly where they're coming from. But if you're a fucking
Movie fan.
regular, yeah, movie fan or no, even if you're a movie fan, you get what the Kree is. But
Yeah.
But if you're like just a fucking average Joe who literally just wanted to pick up a game title and was like, okay, this is like a Destiny type game and I have superheroes, maybe I could jump into this game and understand more superhero stuff. This is not the game for you because it doesn't explain jack all. Like it doesn't even explain the characters.
Bro,
like,
let me pause you right there. That's my biggest gripe with the game, bro. Like, it's an Avengers game, but if you don't know shit about the Avengers, you don't get to know them. Like, they don't explain who these characters are. They just assume that you watch the Marvel Cinematic Universe or read the comics. And so the fact that you're playing the first mission and after that they disassemble, why should we care? Because it's like, I don't know this version of Captain America. I don't know this version of Iron Man. They could be different. It's like, I have a hard time grasping these characters. It's like, I see them, they look familiar, but it's like you don't really get a chance to know who they are. So that moment when they do come back together as a group, I really don't care that much because it's like I didn't get to know them as a team before that. That whole story with them disassembling and coming back, they should have saved that for a sequel.
It felt like a teen. It felt like a teen drama, honestly.
Yeah, they should have saved that storyline for a sequel. And the first game is when we should have got to know these characters well. So when they do break up, you actually feel that impact. And I didn't feel that impact at all.
The shittiest thing about that sequence, I would say, is that the moment you get that the Avengers have been broken up, it is done by narrative and is done by narration and is done by cuts, like
still
images.
Yeah.
Like, it's not done by the characters having to be together and then having to emote to one another that they've broken up. We get that a little bit later.
Yeah, they brush over those 5 years so quickly.
Yeah, but it's like it jumps to 5 years later, and you're like, I don't get the deciding motivation as to why Kamala Khan is doing what she's doing, and yet I get that she's a super fan, but I'm not understanding why she's going into government fucking servers to get information about something that has been like publicly ruled in the States 5 years ago. Like, it's weird because we don't get the setup as to knowing why it's happening until we're through most of it, and her motivations have already been solidified. Like, it's just, here is the beginning of the game, and here's your origin story.
Yeah.
Well, not just that, but she was just all about, like, I have to pick up where the Avengers left off. They're not bad people. I'm going to be the vigilante hero that I've always wanted to be. And then she gets fucked.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
I mean, her origin story, her strife to try to, it's interesting. She's unsure of herself for the most part. She doesn't know what she wants to do. She just wants to make sure that the truth is out there, but she doesn't know to what extent she wants to throw herself into the ring for it. It's an interesting story. However, the game doesn't back most of it up because most of the pieces aren't there. So it's weird. It is so weird to go through the progress of the story, meeting Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
Knowing that there's supposed to be knowing that there's supposed to be a chemistry between the two of them. There is one storyline if you play the game, because again, it's also weirdly structured that you don't understand that there's side quests to unlock. That each individual character has a side quest that has a piece of a story in it. So if you don't play those side quests, you don't get the full, technically the full story. Because if you beat Banner's side quest to beat Abomination, you have a small tender moment between Kamala Khan and Bruce, and you're like, cool. You're supposed to get why they're tight. That's why when at the end of the game, and Bruce is being almost destroyed by fucking MODOK, who also
by the way,
MODOK for no fucking reason.
We didn't say anything.
Again.
Spoilers.
Huh?
I forgot. Did we forget to say spoilers? It's gonna be spoilers.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say spoilers. There's spoilers in this game. I'm sorry if you have not been in the game. But again, paying a $59.99 price tag for this game, I would highly not recommend it. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with all the money. Okay, first of all, I'm sorry, I gotta jump in. they promoted multiplayer. If they're going to make it a multiplayer game, you need to make it easier for people to find each other and get in. It's not so much that it's complicated, but if you're just wanting to jump in and play with your friends like right away, you got to pick the right mission. You got to make sure that it's at the right level. And if you don't understand the structure of how the level is being displayed, or how the leveling structure works, because it goes level and then power, versus in most games it's just a level and your stats and armor. This just takes on a whole form of bullshit, in my opinion. I don't think that the menus were good. I don't think that they could have simplified something very simple. I think they overthought the weapon structure as well, because you don't necessarily get new outfits. You get armor pieces, and like the Hulk, he doesn't get anything. Like you even mentioned that yourself, Frisky. You're like, yo, the Hulk's got nothing until you buy the outfit. So like instead of spending $60 for a game, if you want all the outfits, no extra armor, it'd be like $150, close to $200 game. Pending, because we have DLC in the works. We still don't have a full game.
Well, the DLC. Well, sorry. They say the DLC is going to be free. The only thing that's not free is the freaking outfits, which is bullshit.
Which is not cosmetic. To be 100%, all the outfits are cosmetic. You don't need them to complete the game. You don't need them to, win the game in any way. They're just there if you want to look this way. That's it. They're optional. They're 100% optional.
Yeah, but I want to look cool.
That's true, but that's on you. That's on you. If you want to spend $20 buying 1,500 fucking whatever cosmetic points credits in the game are, that's on you. If you want the original Captain America suit or something, or the approximation of that suit, you have to spend the money for it, or you have to go through the weekly challenges to get the points to purchase one of the suits.
That's if you like repetitive gameplay and freaking lasers. That's another thing about this game I hate. The lasers. All the freaking lasers. There's nothing but lasers in this game. And then when you have like Captain America, or not Captain America, you have Thor or Iron Man, they're worthless. They're like, oh, there's a laser. Take the freaking laser out. I can't stand the lasers. Don't even start. No. I'm mad about the lasers now.
Well, that's if you're playing by yourself. Like the AI is very questionable, because if you're doing a multiplayer mission and you got your crew, your AI crew, they don't do the objectives. You're the only one that actually can do the objectives. Like if you're standing on a thing trying to hack, the other guys won't do that. They'll just fight whatever robots is there. Or if you have to destroy like turbines or free people, they're not doing that shit. You're the only one doing that. So that whole mission is basically riding on your shoulders.
So it makes the end of the game the way it does, because it removes the AI components of the game and forces you to play as Captain America, doing objectives, climbing up a tower. Like if it was just you and like 4 other guys, you probably have a better time. But it's literally just you.
Yeah, it's very weird. Like you said, this whole structure of the game, like you have single player missions that you can only play alone, but they feel like multiplayer missions, and then you have co-op missions that, supposedly contribute to the story, but not really that much. It's just like, oh, you gotta like go to an aim base and break a thing, or you have to go to Nick Fury's shield vault and get a thing. It's just, man, I feel like the biggest handicap for this game was the decision to make it like you said, like Destiny. I never played Destiny, so
it's a watered down Destiny. I'm gonna say that right now. It's nowhere near as polished as Destiny.
It's a Fisher Price Destiny. Okay, let's be real.
Yeah, so,
because one of the biggest problems I have with the game is the fact that loading screens are fucking so many goddamn loading screens. But the big issue because of loading screens is because you're being sent to a different map, and then you are just in that one area. And then once you go to that area, you go to a smaller area, then you go into another smaller area. Like, it goes from town, bunker, lab, and that's it. You know, it's always the same aim base. It's always the same fucking corridors. It's always the same fucking lab. It's just where you start off may be different, like canyons or small town USA or Jersey City, maybe.
Small town.
You know, it's true. Like you start off in that one weirdly constructed small town. You're always like, where am I, and why is this small town being occupied by AIM soldiers?
It's
It
Hoboken.
have a giant AIM facility here.
It's Hoboken.
Like it's fucking weird. It's like a small, it's like it's like that fake town in freaking Thor, you know, the rock sun town.
Oh, the New Mexico town.
Yeah, in New Mexico. It's like that. It's like they built a city around a fucking canyon ridge for no reason. Like who exports anything here? Like what's its function? What's their main fucking source of fucking income? And it's just a giant AIM base with freaking lasers attached to it. It's like, why is it here?
Freaking laser beams.
You could be taking a shit, looking for treasure chest, and then there's a laser. Why is there a laser in a cave? What's this there? Okay, now I'm walking in an abandoned mine. There's lasers, and there's no enemies, just lasers. Why are there lasers every freaking where? I can't stand it.
It is weird. It is such a weird, it's a weirdly structured game, and it's made by Square Enix, which I'm like, God, I wish you guys weren't the ones making this game, because
I think it was America's Square Enix, not Japanese Square Enix.
What was it? It was like Eidos. I think it might be like Eidos.
It's Crystal Dynamics.
Eidos.
Crystal Dynamics. Thank you. Crystal Dynamics. What it was. Yeah, it's so fucking weird that, again, spoilers, that the way that this game it's telling its story. It's supposed to be very grandiose, very epic, but there's moments in the game that make no goddamn sense. That there's stuff that doesn't flow together. Like the moment the crew discovers that maybe they fucked up and Captain America maybe did something wrong, and then everyone at each other's
they have a fight.
The only two that get into a fight is the Hulk and Iron Man. Everyone else suspiciously absent. Everyone in that giant space shuttle of a fucking Harrier jet, all
disappear.
And I don't know where they went. The place was populated. We had 3 shops. The vending machine was working. The fucking people were just hanging out. The moment everything goes downhill,
everybody's gone.
Islands, the fucking
shit.
stores are
We gotta
shutting.
get out of here.
Yo, what pisses me?
No one, and then she's just there. And I'm like, how did you not notice anyone leave?
Yo, what pisses me off about that whole scene? They have a fight between Iron Man and the Hulk, and you don't even get to see it. They go outside, and you don't see it at all. And then they come back, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, bro. Yeah, me too."
Yeah, all of them, they're back, and everybody's like, "Yeah, my bad." And then everyone shows back up again. And they're like, "Where did you go?" It's such a weirdly structured game, narrative, that you're like, I don't understand what just happened. Especially, again, this is all spoilers to the game, and I cannot not talk about the story because it's just fucking baffling. There's a moment where Monica is injected by serum done by MODOK or Charlton, and then you don't get to see the end result of that. You just know she fucking blacks out. Then later in the end of the game, she's just there, and I'm like, wait a second.
Hi.
What just happened? You were injected by the same formula that turned Charlton into Big Head over there, and yet nothing.
That's what I wanted to know. Girl.
It's gotta be DLC.
Maybe she got the good genes? I don't know. Maybe
nothing is explained. Nothing's ever explained to the extent that it should, because again, it's all for the next game. It's all for the next update that you're supposed to pay $20 for or some shit. I don't know.
No.
But again, it's free DLC, so we're not gonna spend any money on that. But maybe, I don't know. I think only characters are free. I'm not entirely sure. I think only characters.
No,
are free.
they said regions and characters are free.
Exactly. So I don't know about story. That's the thing. I don't know if there's a story pack that's gonna come down, and the explanation as to why the fucking Kree probe goes into space. It's going to have anything, because again, Kree probes goes to space. Ronan the Accuser and the Kree Armada are going to come later, which will then showcase that the Inhuman Royal Family will show up later on. If you don't know who the Inhuman Royal Family, there was a television show called The Inhumans not that long ago. Also terrible. Don't watch it.
Don't watch it.
So just know that the Inhumans weren't just a knockoff mutant hybrid. They weren't just, oh shit, we're all people that have mutations. They're supposed to be an entire different thing that has existed on Earth since the dawn of man. So it's something that will eventually come into play. I don't know how well it will be. I just know that there's a giant pug that's going to show up later on that can teleport everywhere. Like, it's going to be interesting once that happens to this game. I don't know.
All right, I'm going to talk about the potential of this game, but first, let me talk about something good. We've been shitting on this game for like a half hour.
America look real pretty.
Yeah, all right, the graphics are good, but I'm going to say the stuff I like. Like, the first level is cool. You're, like, walking around this, like, Avengers, like, con, and you're messing with things, you're interacting with things, you're meeting the Avengers, like, all her little interactions. Like Camilla Khan, she's a fun character, you know? I say Camilla to piss Jen off.
No, dude, it's fine. Stop calling her Camilla.
All right, Kamala. I thought she was gonna be annoying, but she's a good character. I liked her. I liked her interactions with the Avengers. They were really cute. I like collecting the comic books. That was fun. Even though when I went to get the whole comic book, my game froze, and I was like, I'm gonna get to the bugs. Oh my god, there's a lot. I was like, this is a good sign. So I rebooted and I got all the comic books, and then the first mission begins. And that first mission on the Golden Gate Bridge, it's the best level in the game, like hands down. That whole opening when you're playing as each Avenger, learning their moves and stuff, taking turns, that should have been the entire game. They should have had.
Yeah, go ahead. I didn't want to cut you off, but the funny thing about the entire beginning sequence of the game, which is really, really well done, is that it's sort of supposed to mimic the end of the game.
Yeah.
But everyone has equal amounts of screen time at the beginning rather than at the end. That's all I got to say.
Oh yeah, dude, I have a whole section for that last level. I had an experience with that last level. I'm gonna get to that last level. Holy shit. But the first level is great, man. Like you're taking turns with each of the characters. They're using their abilities.
It had me. The beginning part, I agree.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying like splitting up the Avengers is a bad idea, because if they stay together the entire game like they do in the Age of Ultron movie, we would have had missions where they would have used their abilities doing different things. Like, all right, like you're an Iron Man. Let's say you're going to a fortress. You use Iron Man to take out the lasers. You use the Hulk to take on like all the tanks and shit. And then you use Black Widow to sneak in, and stuff like that. And you switch between them either by choice or by narrative. That would have been an awesome game, and I think that's kind of what I expected to an extent. But and then the first level you're fighting Taskmaster, and it's a fun boss fight because you're learning how to play with Black Widow, the grappling hook, and the invisibility cloak. It's great. So the next time I fight Taskmaster in the mission, I have 3 Avengers with me, and we're fighting this dude 4-on-1, and it takes him like 20 minutes to die. That doesn't make any fucking sense, man. Like, it's just so weird. But that first level, it really like hypes you up for the rest of the game, and that's why I say, like, if they didn't focus on making it Destiny, it would have been a cooler game if they just focused more on that single player aspect. Because I like the mission where you're ex Kamala, you're going around the city rooftops, you're ducking and dodging like the aim robots. That's cool stuff. But as soon as you get to like the open areas where there's like a bunch of loot boxes and shit, that's when the game suffers. It becomes a chore. It becomes very repetitive. Like, but if you play it in multiplayer with co-op with a friend, it becomes more fun, obviously, because you're with your buddy.
So much more fun.
Yeah, so when me and Yoko played for the first time, like for first 2 hours or so, we were having fun because we were like, oh shit, she was the Hulk and I was Cap. So, like sometimes I'd be aiming to take down a laser, and then all of a sudden a rock comes, shows up and destroys the laser. And I'm like, yo, that was my kill. Like, we had some fun moments.
Yeah, I was mad. I was fiending dude too. I was like, ah! He kept calling Kamala. I was like, stop calling Kamala. We're just throwing shit. It's actually I was sincerely angry at how long it took me to set up the game. Like, I loaded the game a day before, so that way we could catch up. And we spent more freaking time trying
in the lobby.
Yeah, trying to find each other in the damn lobby. It was just not a pleasant experience.
Let me ask you this: were you trying to do it through the main campaign or through Avengers Initiative?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we were doing
I do know through the Avengers campaign, you can't really play each other, play with one another, through a story mission, which is weird because I was trying to figure. I remember it saying you could, but you can't.
Yeah.
A friend of mine was trying to
sometimes he
jump
could
in the same game as me, but he couldn't because he was in Avengers Initiative, and I wasn't. So I eventually load into Avengers Initiative, which is also something that's so super weird to have already there.
Yeah.
Because it's okay, you jump into the game and it's gonna spoil the end of the game for you. It's
that is weird.
Why do you have this unlocked already? This should be after you beat the game, you should be able to do this. But no, it's off the bat. You get, hey, Captain America's alive.
Yeah. I told her, I'm oh my God, Captain America's alive.
Yeah. AIM has a new leader. It's okay, cool. I guess I know who survives the end of this game. It's so weird. I mean, it's also
weird.
One of those things that you're supposed to go of course Captain America's alive. He's not be fucking dead. He's Captain America.
I know. We were making jokes about that too. We're you will never guess what happens. I was what? What happened? Captain America's alive. Oh my God!
He survived the events of A-Day, man. That's crazy, right? But how? I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, it's so weird. Why would you have your multiplayer mode be after the main campaign? It's most people are going to boot up the multiplayer first.
Or tell you that it's after the main campaign. They could start off without it. Literally, which is funny because this is just my experience after being in the game only so recently. I had started the Avengers Initiative a days before I beat the game because my friend wanted to play with me. So we jumped in one mission. I saw that little bit, the little bit of
the little warning.
the beginning movie where it goes hey, AIM has a new leader. Monica's a new leader of the freaking, AIM initiative. She's the new scientist supreme. Captain America's dishing out orders. Everyone's around the table, and you're cool. Maria Hill, all this stuff. If you didn't play the game, you now know is the future of the game. So after I did that one mission, I went back to the story, beat the game, and then at the end of the game,
they showed the same cutscene.
But now everyone's all wearing the Stark Tech uniforms because that's the last mission you did. So I'm
what? It's so weird.
Why show me this in the beginning of Initiative? You could literally not put that there and just started with everyone. Just started with somebody on the bridge, the last character you had selected in the main campaign, instead of being Captain America. It's so weird.
Let me ask you this: before you played with your buddy, did they force you to do a training mission as Iron Man?
I don't know because I know I had already done I was already doing the main storyline where they give you the training mission when Iron Man would come on a con.
Before we could play our first multiplayer mission, they made us do a training mission as Iron Man. We were forced to do it.
Did you already get past that in the story, or
no? This was before.
Okay, so then I guess because you didn't do it in the story.
Yeah, but it makes no sense. It's we want to play together.
I did it in the story mode, and it made me do it twice.
So
and then it made me do it a third time. It made me do one with Kamala, and I was so mad.
I mean, I know there are everyone has a harm training training room.
Yeah, they do.
Scenario. So I don't know if you needed to do that before because I had those already done by the time I jumped into the paired up mode.
Okay, well they forced us to do it because I guess we didn't do it, but it's why are you forcing us to do a stupid training mission? We just want to play with our friends.
No, I guess they want you to know the ins and outs of the character.
Oh my God.
But then again, every single one of the training missions are the exact same. For each individual character, they're all the exact same. Dodge,
and I don't want to
basic attack. but R2 does. That's it. They're all the same. They're all the same fucking mission.
I mean, yeah, like each character, to an extent, controls differently, but you know, everybody has a projectile. Everybody has a strong attack.
They all
Weak
function
attack.
the same. They all function the exact same.
It's
Everyone
just
has, like,
different
intrinsic
flair.
ability. You know, Iron Man's repulsor rays. Bruce's fucking, like, you know, gamma rage. Cap shield.
See, what I like
You know,
about
everyone has, or Black Widow's fucking, like, you know, single straight line fucking grappling hook. And,
what I like about Iron Man is that you can actually switch his weapons. You can switch them from like to missiles to repulsors to lasers. And same thing with Black Widow.
you can do that. You can do that with Black Widow. Yeah.
Yeah, you could switch her guns, and I'm like, this would have been cool if like every character had a little bit more variety where you could like switch it up and stuff.
I wish Cap had a better, like, you know, it would have been like cool if he had 3 different ways he could use a shield or some shit.
Yeah, and I'm assuming when Hawkeye comes out, he's gonna have different arrows, obviously.
Trick shots.
Hawkeye, will he be deaf?
Both Hawkeyes, and Hawkeye better be deaf.
He's not gonna be deaf.
Better be hard of hearing. I should say, he better be hard of hearing. But there are these 2 different Hawkeyes are showing up: Clint Barton and Kate Bishop. So I'm like, I'm glad both Hawkeyes are showing up.
Yeah.
That's a cool thing for me. I like Kate. I like Kate a lot.
They won't let me play as Hank Pym because they're afraid I'm gonna beat up my wife.
It's very true. Very true. The funniest thing is to have another thing about the storyline is to have the Hank Pym is the resistance leader, and I'm like, huh. And then also that Hank Pym refuses to actually fight anything. And I'm like, this is weird that
I know, right?
It went down that you don't, like, you were like, Ant-Man was another life. It's like, motherfucker, you could do anything.
Yeah.
Why aren't you doing more? Like,
you know how fucking cool if Giant Man showed up to like beat up that giant spider instead of shrinking it.
It's like shrinking it is just as cool, but it's weird that they don't utilize Ant-Man's like full capability. I mean, yes, he's a wife beater. We made that comment earlier. But he's also super level genius, and it's weird that he's like, hey, Ant-Man, it's cool that you have like this like hideout built into like some sort of like fucking mountain, but you know what would have been cooler if you shrank it all, because that's a lot easier never to find.
Oh,
I was gonna say, yo, that's so smart.
It's so weird that I thought for a fact that it was gonna be like, oh yeah, welcome to the anthill. Legitimately, it's an anthill, but yet it's never showcased to be that. You do see giant ants in the backgrounds of the wall, which makes you think that you're small. But you later see that that their ants are being gigantified in a machine in the back. So it's like why couldn't you just make this a small area? Like, it's weird. So yeah, whatever. There's so much to fucking to Ant-Man or to Hank Pym, I should say, that they don't utilize. I do wish Scott Lang was used, because I like Scott.
Hell yeah, get Paul Rudd up in here.
Huh?
Get Paul Rudd to voice his ass.
Oh yeah, Paul Rudd would be great. Like Scott Lang, Paul Rudd, Scott Lang is one of my all-time favorites. Comic book Scott Lang has his moments, and I will always remember that one moment where he fucking ditched Jessica Jones because he thought she was having his kid, and he's all like, I ain't having none of this.
He's like, Bruce.
And I was like, Scott Lang, you a bitch.
Oh,
you a bitch, Scott Lang.
We need some defenders. You know what will make this game better? Because of all the hallways. We need Defenders DLC so we can do some hallway fights.
That's true. This place is filled with corridors. So freaking Avengers would fucking
feel like I'm in a Marvel Netflix show.
It would be. I mean, I do want to see, because again, it's also weird to have a storyline like this, and then also incorporate that it works in a larger Marvel universe. So both Hawkeyes exist. Being Kate Bishop and Clint Barton both exist. That means other Avengers exist. So that means where the fuck was Luke Cage? What the fuck was Spider-Man doing?
Well, that's a problem.
Like, all right, cool. fuck the United States and aim. The Black Panther go like, this is stupid. Wakanda's, a state for all Inhumans so they could come over.
Oh, speaking of Black Panther, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman.
Yes.
Rest in peace. It was rumored that Black Panther was going to be announced as DLC, but that was that was the same week Chadwick passed.
Yep.
So they didn't want to do that. So maybe we'll get Black Panther down the line. But my thing about Black Panther as a character in this game, he deserves his own video game. He shouldn't be freaking DLC in an Avengers game. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you can do so much with a Black Panther video game. Yeah.
I mean, I don't disagree at all. I believe Black Panther should have his own platform in many things.
Of course.
But that's only because he's gotten to become such a better character throughout the years. Because again, Marvel did a lot to these characters. Because again, they were all C-listers, man. Black Panther was a C-lister down the line, back in the day. Now he's superstar, god tier king.
Not only that, but I would assume. No, not only that, but I would assume that they would want to save someone like a Black Panther or a Captain Marvel for a sequel game, because you don't want to blow your load on the first game. You want.
But that's the thing. This game is only one part of I don't know how many other parts they're going to add to it. They're going to add DLC campaigns down the line. The next one's going to be Captain Marvel, for a fact, just because how the way this story ends. Either Captain Marvel or the Inhuman royal family, and then into Captain Marvel, because it'll be a war against Kree and the royal family.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Again, however they want to progress in this game is however they're going to progress in this game. We're going to have DLC campaigns. More like if Black Panther is going to be a DLC down the line, more than likely we're going to see Wakanda as
a
corridor
region.
State, small town USA.
I know, right? One level,
Don't.
lots of lasers.
Oh, don't.
Running in the
It'll be the same quarry, mountain range that we were in Utah. It's just gonna be with jungle leaves and fucking a panther.
Oh, come on! You're making me sad.
He right though.
It's gonna be so weird to see when it when it actually comes to fruition, and we're gonna see the rest of the characters show up. Because again, Spider-Man is confirmed to be Sony PlayStation exclusive, so he's gonna be in the game.
But it's
Which
not.
is on one of those things. What the fuck is he gonna do? Most of the characters that have been included in games, how are you gonna work any different than anybody else? I don't know what Spider-Man. He's gonna play Black Widow. Is the thing that's gonna be that I see. He's able to swing off things. His projectile attack is gonna be a whole shit ton of web balls, and he's gonna dodge like everyone else. It's weird. Every single person seems to be the same character, just swapped. So
No, it is weird because I thought originally they were gonna confirm that Spider-Man from his own game is gonna be the same one that's gonna be in this game. No, but it's been confirmed that this is an original Spider-Man. This is Crystal Dynamics Spider-Man.
I mean, yes, he's gonna play Crystal Dynamics Spider-Man, but there's supposed to be this whole thing that it's supposed to be a Marvel Cinematic Game universe. So yes, it's gonna be a Crystal Dynamics version of Spider-Man, but he's tangentially tied to the Sony PlayStation Spider-Man.
That's not what I heard. I heard that this is a brand new Spider-Man, but we'll see when it happens. I hope it's the same one.
It looks pretty good. I hope it, because the last Spider-Man games that you showed me, the last one was pretty good.
The last Spider-Man game, the Sony Spider-Man, is by far
it's a fucking masterpiece. I'm sorry.
The most triumphant Spider-Man game that's come out since Spider-Man 2 on the PS2.
And you know why? Because it had a really engaging story with some fleshed out characters. It had a fun city to swing around in. Had great objectives, great missions, great collectibles, free costumes with different abilities. And yeah, because
it was a standalone game from start to finish. The Spider-Man Sony game was a standalone thing. You didn't need to purchase the City That Never Sleeps DLC pack to beat that game.
Yeah, and
that's the best thing about it. You could start the game from point A to point B, be done with it, and be awesome. The game has an ending. If you want to see more, it's only adding to the experience that you can buy the DLC pack, and that's it. It's only like an addition, an addendum to the original game. Like that's it. You don't need it. You don't need it.
No, you don't need it. And to be honest, like it was okay. It wasn't that great.
It was okay.
It was okay.
I'm not fretting over the money I spent on it because I was like, yo, I like this universe. The fact that they gave you a little bit more in the universe was cool. They still gave you free costumes even without that. Like, you know, they gave you the Spider-Man movie costume for free. The Sam Raimi costume for free. You know, so I'm like, yo, that's cool. Like, you know, like you didn't need to buy the DLC pack, and they still gave you stuff.
Yeah,
you bought the DLC pack, and it's only adding to the experience that these developers went, hey, we wanted a little bit more of the story and add characters that weren't in here before, so you can play brand new storyline with characters that weren't in the game, and you can literally like do more. And I was like, that's awesome, because you didn't need you didn't have Black Cat in the game, you didn't have Hammerhead in the game before, and now you have this brand new storyline written around these characters. And that's cool. It's like, you know, an extra $30. Sure, it's a short, small, extra campaign. You know,
that was cute.
Speedball. You know, all that shit that you added into the game.
Speedball.
I'm like, that's cool stuff. I freaking planted the shit out of that game because I wanted to. It was so much fun.
And initially, I was like, man, yo, it'd be cool if they did like a co-op Spider-Man game, but not if it's gonna be anything like the co-op in Avengers. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like, where the game shines.
It's always hard. This co-op is always hard because you have to think about how you can make an objective for two characters.
Oh, four.
And then it's tricky. It's tricky. Here's I'm going to interrupt. I don't find it so much hard as it is costly for the programming. Plot-wise, I don't think it's a problem. But programming two people, especially if it's couch co-op versus online co-op, for some reason, they're doing less and less couch and more online, and I think it has to do with money. And, like, if Miles Morales has a co-op feature later on where they feature the other Spider-Mans, like, dude, I'm all for it. I would give this Avengers game up in a heartbeat.
Well, where the Avengers, for me, the game shined was in the straight-up single-player missions. Like, I loved when you went to Tony Stark's like old like base and you were getting Jarvis. Like, I loved looking at his stuff, like his guitar and his old pictures. And I love the mission where you go save Captain America. Like, you're flying as Iron Man, you're like going into space dodging lightning bolts, which is awesome, while rock music is playing. Then you go into the space station and you're looking for things, and then you find them, and then you switch to Cap and you're doing this cool parkour stuff while the space station is basically like falling apart. And I'm like, that's cool, man. Like, this is the shit. I want more of this shit. Like, you give parkour to Captain America, but he barely gets to use it in the game. He uses it like in 2 missions. It's like, come on, let me get more of that stuff. And also, like, there's 2 boss fights where you're fighting like a giant spider and a giant like spacecraft. And that was like the only time where I felt like, yo, I need all the Avengers here, like all men on deck. And it was cool because like I would be Thor and I would go fight the thing up from the top, and then I would go on the bottom and like break the legs. Like, I like those boss fights, and they should be in the multiplayer missions because it really makes you feel like it's an Avengers game. You're fighting like big threats and not just waves after waves of robots all of a sudden. Like, I want more of that stuff.
I feel they're going to be in the multiplayer campaign missions because that's something that they were talking about. It's like they're like world events in Destiny. Like, eventually, again, another thing about the game that I was trying to say before that doesn't flow well is the way that their maps are set up. Like, at least in Destiny, when you're in a hub, you're able to go anywhere you want. And then when you go to like a distinct area, you're able to explore that whole area. You don't need from ship to stern. You can go from one end of the map underground into the map, deeper into the map, and then find all this other stuff without having to go through a shit ton of load screens.
Yeah.
At least you have that option in Destiny. In Avengers, when you're like, I feel like it's only 4 players. So you can always only be 4 players. which sinks the map and makes the map smaller because it's less. You're trying to load less, yet is loading so much that that's why there's so many fucking more fucking work for it to do. I don't know why, but in a game like that, every single character should be allowed to be on the map with a bunch of multiplayers, but you don't. It's just 4 people running around the same singular map. So world events can't happen. You can't just be wandering around one map and then a giant spider shows up and then everyone from all over the fucking map starts running towards the giant spider to fight it. But it doesn't happen. You can't have it in this game.
That'd be
so
so cool.
weird.
That'd be so cool.
It would be so cool, but you can't have it. Because again, the cardinal rule of the game is that you can't have 2 Captain Americas running around.
God. All right, I'm gonna get to the last level. I have a rant for this fucking last level of the game. So it starts off with It starts off
because he calls himself MODOK, and again, nowhere in the game does he ever call himself MODOK until the end.
No, not even that, man. Oh man, this
why did my name is MODOK now? It's like, but why?
Let me get into it because we're running out of time.
That's my own rant. That's my own mini rant to this game. It's like, I don't know why he calls himself MODOK.
Because he read the comics. That's why. So check it out. It starts off with a freaking Captain America speech. And I'm like, all right, let's fucking go. We got the Captain America speech. They're wearing these stupid ass costumes that make him look like fucking Batman. But it's all right. I get past that. And then, they make a joke about the Avengers assemble. She's like, are you going to say it? And he's like, oh, I don't really say that. And I'm like, come on, man.
I'm sorry to cut you off right here, but there was a graphical glitch right there for me.
Where?
I had bought one of the costumes, because I had enough of the credits, because I accumulated them because I did all the daily challenges, so I had a bunch of credits left over.
Okay.
So I bought the Captain America suit that's on the marketplace, that it's legitimate, looks like a Captain America suit, so I'm like, I want that suit. And when you're in game, the helmet doesn't come off of it. So I'm like, oh, that sucks, because the other suit, when you're in any cutscene, the helmet's off, and you see him as Captain America, just Steve Rogers.
Right.
But for whatever reason, when you're just wearing that one, the helmet doesn't come off. So when the story cuts to that moment where they're all going to the Quinjet, and she's making the fun, are you gonna say the assembly line? Half his head's missing.
Oh no!
Yeah, half his head is missing because he's wearing the StarTech suit, and it's supposed to showcase his face, but the last mask that he's wearing doesn't have the model render for it, so it's just half his face is gone.
Oh,
so the detail for the helmet is just gone, and just the mouth and the eyes are the only thing floating there.
Honestly, that sounds like a treasure. I had a glitch too, where we were loading up for a mission. I was just loading up for my own mission, and all I saw was Hulk's back meat. That was it. Just back meat.
Well, what about the time we got stuck on the Quinjet for 2 hours?
Oh, yeah, dude. We were on the Quinjet for close to 2 hours just to load.
It didn't work. Yeah, we tried over and over. I was like, yo, where are we flying on? Delta Airlines? What's going on?
Right? And we're like, yo, is this Spirit too?
Yeah, there's so many bugs and glitches in the game. Oh my god. I'm gonna get into that.
Continue where you were saying.
So yeah, the last mission starts off fucking epic. It's in the rain and Captain America's doing parkour and shit, and then you're fighting robots and stuff. And then about the time you get inside the base, because AIM has more bases than the Umbrella Corp. So you get into the base, and then you're switching between characters and shit, and then you're fighting MODOK. And yo, when I get into the base, the game starts chugging, my dude. It goes down to 20 FPS, 10 FPS. I've never played a game that's slowed down to this effect in my entire life. And it just killed my whole enthusiasm for the moment. I was so pumped up to do this. And it's a short campaign too, so I'm like, all right, well, I'm at the end. I'm gonna have a great time, because like you said, the beginning of the game, you're switching between Avengers. This one has you doing that too, but it's really random. It's sometimes you're Black Widow, sometimes you're Cap, sometimes you're Hulk, then you're Cap again. It's really random how they switch it up, because you're not really using everybody's ability to their full potential here. They're just making you switch out, just to switch out. But the game starts lagging when I'm Black Widow. and it's just not fun. I got so frustrated. It was a pain in the ass. And then you fight MODOK. And I'm like, all right, what's the cool, interesting way they're gonna have me beat MODOK? Turns out you just shoot him in the fucking head as Black Widow over and over again and just dodge his stupid shockwave attack. And I'm like, this is so fucking lame. I'm like, this is...
That's not even like the... I'm sorry, that's like not even like the lamest thing.
No, it's not. It's coming up.
The initial fight between you and MODOK.
It's coming up.
You start off as Captain America, and then you switch to Iron Man, and then Iron Man's like, take out the thrusters. And I'm like, he's a shield over his body, but not his thrusters?
Yeah.
Like, that's genius.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like when he finally gets the health, the boss bar.
Yeah. I know what you meant. I know exactly what you meant. It's just every time you're like playing as one of the separate characters to fight MODOK.
Yeah.
He has a glaring weakness, like a glaring video game weakness. That's like...
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Like, it's weird that you have a glaring video game like weakness.
And he's supposed to be smart because he has a big head.
Supposed to be like genius.
He's supposed to be
everything
genius.
is supposed to be like super smart. There's never a moment that he's supposed to like again. I'm thinking as an Avengers, like in a moment, I'm thinking everyone has to utilize your skills to like break him down in some way. Like Hulk overheats his shield because he's finding him too much, or gives you an opening to like throw a shield in there with Captain America.
Something interesting.
Yeah, some co-op type scenario, like something like like Hulk throws Cap at him, full shield breaking, like pushing him into like a corner or something, like deflecting, freaking repulsor rays off of fucking Thor's lightning or some shit. I don't know.
Exactly.
Like something that's supposed to be like everyone has like a co-op move, but no, none of that happens. It's just like every individual has like a strength, and he has a glaring weakness against that strength. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah, so after you take him out in the lamest way possible, that's when what's that thing called? The Kree statue?
Yeah, the Kree soldiers, the Kree sentry.
Kree sentry shows up, and it's like this huge thing. Like, I was surprised. I was like, oh shit, like this huge fucking statue looking dude. And I'm like, wow, like this is gonna be the final boss. How are the Avengers gonna overtake this guy? I was hyped. And I was like, all right, let's do this, man. And then what happens? How do you take him out? Frankie, tell me. How do you take him out?
Well, here's the funniest thing about it. When the Kree Sentry shows up, you're thinking, oh, sweet, we're going to fight the Kree Sentry.
Yes.
You switch to the Hulk and then fight a bunch of other small things for like a good long
time. It's like I was expecting the Hulk to jump in his eyeball and be like, yo, I'm going to fuck him up.
And then he does do that, but you're not in control of it.
Yeah, it's in the cutscene.
Yeah, so then fucking the Hulk is taken on. This goes back to what I was trying to say in the beginning, where you have this moment between Kamala Khan and Bruce Banner, and now they're supposed to be friends. So Hulk is being taken out by this huge Kree Sentry, which is now turning him back into Bruce Banner. I don't understand what happened there, but he's like being like, I'm weakened, and then Kamala goes to try to save her best friend Bruce Banner, and then jumps in there, grabs like the fist, and then spouts the with great power comes great responsibility line. But her statement is good isn't something you are, it's something you do. And then she does enough Chuck, the giant fucking dude from Super Friends. She just becomes Embiggens and just fights the Kree Sentry in a God of War cinematic. So it becomes God of War 1, where all you're doing is pressing button commands, and then you just smash the Kree Sentry into the Golden Gate Bridge, and you win.
It's a fucking quick time event, my dude. Why?
Yeah,
Why?
Why? At least in God of War 1, you actually fought Ares, but in this one, it's like just a button command. It's like press triangle, like press square, press square, press square. Oh, here goes triangle, and we're done.
I was fuming, dude. I was so pissed off because I was so hyped. Like, even if they let me control her in that state, I would have been fine with it. Like, give me a fucking kaiju battle. Let's do it. Like a kaiju fight at the end. But
I
no.
I don't. It's such a weird let me down of here's the last here's the last piece of this game. It's just gonna be you smashing square on the right timer before the circle runs out, which will never happen because if you can't see that square button, you're a fucking fool.
And it's like you said, it's her story. Like, this should have been her moment.
This should have been her moment. I get it thematically why it's her moment here, but it's not for the player. Like the player doesn't get fucking like a cathartic moment here. The player just goes like, "That's it." I feel so let down.
Dude, yeah, that was the hugest letdown for this game.
It's not freaking cathartic. It's not fucking a moment where you're supposed to be like, yeah, I did it.
And
like, through all that trial and tribulation, I finally did it. Me and Kamala have been through such a long, winding road of fucking back setups. The Avengers fought. I brought them together. I had to convince all those guys to come back to the fucking, to the hair carrier. I had to make sure everyone was on board to fight MODOK because we all understand what MODOK stands for. It's like, no, none of that.
And there's no moment where she like becomes an official Avenger. She kind of just shows up in costume.
I mean, technically, she becomes a official Avenger the moment.
When Tony Stark gives her that talk?
I guess. I wanted to say when Captain America was like, I think I owe you a thanks. She's like, why? Well, without you, none of this would have happened. And I was like, yes, that's it. Yeah, I guess that's like the official one. When Captain America goes like,
see, but you saying it with a question. You're saying it with a question mark. You don't even know.
You got the good kids. I'm like, thanks. Really?
Oh man, dude. Like, why introduce something so cool and then have it be done in like 2 seconds? I don't understand. I don't understand.
Again, there's gonna be more to it. She's gonna have I know for a fact she's gonna have a bigger play when Captain Marvel shows up.
Yeah, it's like Crystal.
Character, again, is never in the game at all. She's just wearing her shirt. She has a poster of her. I have no idea where the fuck she is. Apparently, she might be with the Kree.
They say she's off planet at the beginning.
She's off planet with the Kree. Like she's doing Kree shit.
Things like Crystal Dynamics. You got it right with Lara Croft. How do you drop the ball? What Kamala Khan? I don't know, man. But yeah, like I kept asking myself, like, if this game didn't have the Avengers in it, would I give a shit about this game? Probably not.
No. Like, it's funny how other people have stated that this is the first best-selling mediocre AAA title.
Wow.
Like it made so much more money than it deserved the right to have. And
it's so buggy. It's so glitchy. It needed more time.
It wanted to be Destiny, yet it became fucking Anthem. And it would have died like Anthem if it wasn't Avengers.
Yeah, it needed more time in the oven to get rid of all the bugs and the glitches. Because just playing that level was a nightmare. It was a chore to get through. It was so bad.
And I do find it funny that I still got that graphical glitch, and then more glitches after I beat the game than I did when I was playing the game.
They've been patching it up recently.
And that's the thing. They recently did a patch that fixed over 1,000 issues with the game, and an apology too. They sent out an apology over their Twitter, about all the shit that that went wrong with the game, and they put out that patch before I beat the game, and it still had so much fucking like glitches in it.
Yeah,
like it's fucking ridiculous, man.
Right. Well, here's my hope for the game. Here's my hope, because more is coming, more DLC's coming. I hope they give us more missions that aren't repetitive. Make the costumes easier to unlock. Give us cosmetic gear, because the gear system just sucks.
That's not gonna happen.
What's the point of collecting gear if it's not gonna make you look cool? Like,
stat boost.
Yeah.
Listen, would you be offended if I traded it in to get Crash?
No.
Oh, did you hear? Here's a great news. Who's a Smash player?
Me.
Yeah, Smash. Crash Bandicoot has been confirmed for Smash.
Oh, today?
No, are you serious?
I'm serious.
Today?
I'm serious. Crash Bandicoot has been confirmed for Smash.
For, like, right now?
Hilarious.
Not right. He's not out now, but he's coming out.
Like, but they announced it today.
I'm actually proud of that.
They announced it a couple of days ago.
Really? I didn't hear about this. I'm googling it right now.
They're gonna put out the.
Oh, it's been leaked.
Yeah, it's been leaked. So they're gonna be putting out the news soon enough.
Right.
But yeah, Crash Bandicoot.
Crazy.
I don't
But
see
yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I'm really not enjoying the Avengers game. I love playing it with you.
It's a fun experience. It's a fun experience when you have someone to play with.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like, playing with friends makes anything fun. But I hope I just I hope they take players' feedback and they listen to it and they try to just expand on the mission types, man. Like I'm tired of like hacking the thing, beating up the thing,
The best I can hope for.
and
It's not gonna. I bet it's not gonna happen. But the best I can hope for is that someone over at Crystal Dynamics decides and realizes we can't just make this a 4-player co-op. We have to open it up if we really want to compete with the bigger dogs and be a Destiny. We have to make this. We have to make it open, like an open world event. Like we have to make people be able to run on maps with more than just 4 guys and make the maps much larger than what they are, so everyone can go into every single thing. And then when there's a giant event that has to be taken on by a multiple group of people, those group of people can join together and fight that thing. That way, it could be more than just Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, or fucking Hawkeye.
just fighting robots all day.
Exactly, just fight giant robots. Go be able to communicate with people online. Find more guys to do open world co-op, and then make clans. Do what other big games do. Allow you to make an Avengers team with other people. Sure, you're gonna have 4 Captain Americas or 4 Thors on the team.
But who cares? Who cares?
Who cares? Just
fun.
make them all rally together. Have a fucking team of Hulks for all I care.
That'd be a lot more fun. It's a video game, man. Don't think about it.
Make them work in a way that at least makes everyone go oh, cool, it's fun to do the troll move and have a shit ton of Hulks. But fuck that. Let's fucking, make sense of yo, we're all gonna need a specific set of things. I like playing Hulk. You like playing Captain America. Let's do that. Just make it work the way it works, because people will eventually communicate with one another, going yo, we can't just all be fucking Hawkeyes. Yeah. It'll be cool, but it would be interesting to make people go all right. Because again, the funniest thing about Destiny is that there's only 3 classes, and yet you can run a team of 4 fucking strikers and be fine. You can have a team of fucking Titans and be cool. Just make sure that you have a fucking that everyone communicates, and have more people communicate with one another if you let them all run around a map and talk to one another in a fucking hub. It's weird to just be nah, I'm gonna make a team, but it's only gonna be a team of your friends. And you make a fucking enable matchmaking, and people come over for the thing. A lot of them won't fucking try to talk to you because they don't fucking care. It's gonna be fucking weird when it's only a set of 4 people. With less people, makes it less likely that they're gonna talk to one another.
Yeah, man. I haven't played with strangers yet, but I plan on doing so because, you could make some friends while playing this.
Good. I'm not saying you can't, but it's just highly unlikely to be able to pull a fucking, a friendship out of just 4 guys who are just running one short mission.
Yeah, that's the thing. Some of the missions are stupid long, and some of them are really short. They should tell you in the description, hey, this mission will take you about 30 minutes or maybe an hour, because I got shit to do, man. I can't be spending all my time going into aim bases and playing these dumb puzzles where you have to open the door by hitting a switch.
I love when they went from you're outside to go to aim base, you go down to aim base, and you take a shuttle outside the aim base, and I'm like, why the fuck was I go? Why did I go there?
Or better yet, why can't
outside of here?
Why can't the teleporting guy get me in there express?
Well, you know why. You gotta know where shit is. You can't see it.
It's whenever you rescue an Inhuman, he shows up, but when you need a ride,
why isn't his sister in the wheelchair showing up? Where the fuck is she?
Where is she? She's gonna be the next boss. Watch, she's gonna be a future boss. That's why.
Crazy ass game.
Yeah, I just hope they make it better, man. I hope the new characters are fun. I hope Wakanda isn't an empty hallway or a bunch of grass with leaves and shit. I hope they make it. No, they can't do Chadwick like that.
Freaking Wakanda's gonna be such a disappointment.
No, don't say that. But yeah, I have.
Then with Barry, because if you're gonna show Black Panther, they have to show Doom, and Doom better be in the goddamn game.
We're gonna see a Killmonger. He's gonna be a boss that you can only fight for 24 hours.
He won't be as cool as Michael B. Jordan, who had made Killmonger cool. Before that, he wasn't that great.
I'm gonna stay optimistic, but this game is a 6 for me Before I had it at 7, but I was like, nah, let me bring it down to a 6 because I do have fun. Like I love playing as Cap and Widow and Iron Man. Like I do have fun, but I just want variety. Just give me more
At the
variety.
at the moment, it's a 5 because the impetus to play the game after you beat it isn't there.
Yeah, like I played it last night for the first time in like a week because I've been kind of putting it off because like I just don't want to play by myself, man.
Yeah, but that's another thing. Again, it's like the impetus to play the game, unless you have people to play it with and they are enthusiastic to play the game with you, isn't really there. Like going back to do the level 200 power level fucking missions, like why? Why the fuck do I want to play the level 200 fucking power mission? I don't. There's no need for it.
And it's gonna take forever
no
to get
big
that
thing.
200 level gear. It's gonna take forever.
Technically, it doesn't really take that long. I mean, I went from level 14 Hulk to level 46 Hulk in like an afternoon.
How many missions do you do?
4?
Damn. Shit, I gotta play with you, man. You know where the good shit is.
That's a funny thing too. Like when I played it with my friend who had been playing it for a week prior and had beaten the game, was playing with his Thor. He was only a power level of 14, and my Iron Man was a power level of like 22, and I wasn't even anywhere near him in terms of story. And I was like, why? Why are you weaker than me?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, but I have PlayStation Plus for the next 3 months, so we'll definitely play the game and hopefully I want to like level up Cap to the max. Like that's my goal. Like I want to at least
That's
do
my goal
that.
too. I want to level up my Captain America to the
Because
max.
I've seen gameplay videos where he's just busting ass with these crazy ass combos, and I want to get in on
I
that.
like the different moves he has. I like the when he throw the shield and you spin kick the shield.
Yes.
To somebody else. I like that stuff.
That's
I like
sexy.
doing that. I like doing that at dudes. I also got the new. You throw the shield once, you throw it again, and then you do that discus throw, like like the vertical throw, shield throw, and I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, it reminded me of the Super Soldier game that came out for the Xbox 360.
Oh yeah, and one Captain America game that everyone's like, oh, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's like an Arkham Knight clone, but who gives a shit? Like it's still great.
100% is.
It's
But
so
everyone's like, yeah,
good.
it's not bad.
Yeah. All right.
We're never gonna get a Captain America trilogy game series where he's gonna be like fighting 3 dudes, and at the end of it, he gets unmasked and goes like, "I did it for America," and then blows up.
He blows up his mansion. Oh man, but yeah, man. Hopefully they'll update it and it'll be a better game, and we'll be more enthusiastic to play. But until then, even if we don't, we have Miles Morales around the corner, so that's great.
That's true.
Can't wait for that. But yeah, let's wrap it up. Yoko had to take a phone call, so she won't be wrapping it up. But as you can tell, she's going to trade in the game for Crash Bandicoot. All right, you got anything? Crash. All right, man. Thanks for coming, Frankie. Man, this was a fun episode. I love talking superhero shit with you. We definitely got to do a Sentai episode at some point. We got to do it. We got to do that X-Men episode because we have a lot to talk about. Like that whole series is just crazy.
Yeah, I'm down for that. And of course, if any of the listeners do not know what Sentai is, it's like, the superhero genre over in Japan, which is like, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers over here. So, if you want to hear about us gushing over the different types of Red Rangers from the Orient, please let us know.
Yeah, because I want to talk about that Jason episode, man. He was in there for like 2 minutes.
When he was in the fucking, the smoke-filled fucking dungeon?
No, when he showed up on Beast Morphers 2 months ago.
Oh, my bad. I thought you were talking about when he, the greatest episode ever made, the 3-part Green Ranger episode.
Oh, we could definitely talk about that. But all right, man. Thanks for listening, guys. We haven't been uploading much because again, just hasn't been a lot of content. Movies have dried up. But we should be back next month. We're gonna try to do like a spooky episode for y'all. So take care, be safe, and we'll see you next time on Yoko and Frisky's Dimensional Rift. Take care.